men, they're going to go off and do some hunting, going to go see if they can find some kangaroo. Can't find any kangaroo, might try and see if we can find them emu, see if they're still hanging around. So they're going to go off early in the morning and start doing some hunting. The women and children, they're going to head on a little bit further and wait for them to catch up. So these 3 lines that I'm doing now are travel lines, where you're going to travel, where you have travelled, or the water connecting the 2 water holes. In this area, you may not see many of these 3 lines. There's a little bit more top end where I'm from. Sometimes they won't even connect the dots, connect the circle, sorry, but sometimes it will be done through dots where they're connected as well. So not too many of the 3 lines in this area. So now we're going to wait here for the men to catch up. But the women aren't waiting here for no reason. They're waiting in this area because they know there's lots of, or easy to find, bush tucker. So the next 2 symbols I'm going to do are a little bit more resort symbols. So then the first one is a leaf with 3 berries, or an open seed pod with 3 seeds coming out. If you see either of these 2 symbols on a menu item, it means that there's some sort of bush tucker or traditional foods in the food that you're eating. If you'd like to know what it is, ask the staff. If they can't tell you, they're going to ask the chef and they're going to be able to tell you what it is and how it's cooked. Quickest one I can think of is in a Gecko's Cafe. If you've had a steak sandwich, you've already had saltbush, because the mayonnaise on the steak sandwich actually has saltbush within it. So nearly all of our menus will incorporate at least one of those symbols on their menu item. So keeping an eye out for those 2 symbols for your traditional foods in our menu items. Well, so we've got some bush tucker and the men have caught up. We're going to head on a little bit further again and go over here. So the reason that we're going to stop here for a little bit before moving on is it's now time to try the kids out. But it's also time for them to learn as well. So we're going to send the kids out and they're going to go see if they can find some parenti or goanna, a large lizard that we have in the area. They'll start quite young learning how to hunt them because they have to learn how to feed themselves, have to learn how to look after themselves. They will have an older hunter or an adult out there with them to make sure they are hunting it the right way and not getting themselves hurt or in trouble as well. Once the kids have come back from getting some parenti and goanna, we're going to move on again and we're going to go over to here. And we're going to set up here. The reason we have moved on a bit is because the seasons have changed, so the food sources have changed a bit. So we need to follow the seasons to be able to get our food as well. But if everyone's gone from this area just over here, what's happened? It's like your IJ trucks has come in and started replenishing your shelves, or your bush tucker is growing back and replenishing. Your animals are coming in closer to the area because you haven't been hunting in that area. Always about working with the land, not against the land. If you look after the land will look after you. So allow this time, some time to regenerate. Even while we're over in this area, say you got some fruit with some seeds, you're not just going to randomly chuck it. You're going to place it in areas you know it's going to regrow and replenish, because it's food for you later on or food for somebody else. But what you could have just done was walk straight across like this, right? But that's why it's the grandparents, the elders who told the story. They know the land the best. And they know this area just here, there's a very large river, canyon, or something very dangerous to cross. It takes a very long time to cross. So that's why we're going to go around the long way. But by the time we get over here, everyone's going to be pretty slack and pretty lazy and not want to go look for dinner. But you've already done it throughout the day. If the men have had a really, really good morning while hunting, you may have some meat left over from them. You've got some bush tucker from the ladies and maybe a parenti or goanna or 2 from the kids. So you have enough food to feed everybody within your camp. But like I said, I like to do this just to show you some of the symbols that you may see around. We do have a few paintings out this morning as well, so definitely go have a look at those as well. If you purchase a painting or even just take away your love for that painting and share it with others, you are sharing the Anangu's love for chukaba, their love for culture as well. You're also helping them to produce more of these lovely paintings, because I went and brought myself some of the canvas they used from the gallery for 2-3 metre rolls of canvas, $70 straight up, and that was about 2 years ago, so no doubt the price has gone up. You can see some of the size of some of those paintings, how expensive it'll end up being as well. So definitely have a look. If you want to know a little bit about the painting, you can ask, but just be a little bit patient and keep in mind the Anangu know about 4 to 5 different languages and dialects before learning English. English is only really spoken when they're in town selling their paintings or speaking to non-Anangu. Where even when they're speaking to each other here in town, you'll only hear them speak language, not English. So just be a little bit patient and just understand that English is sometimes up to their 6th language. So just be a little bit patient, do ask about them. If you see these 3 circles in one straight line, usually means it's Uluru, Katajuda, Mount Connor, because those 3 Mount Connor Attila I should say, those 3 rock formations are in a straight line. It is part of travelling, and pretty much you've got water holes in between, so that's why they'll travel in between those areas as well. There is a sacred song line to it. I don't know it and I can't tell it, but all I can say, it is part of travelling. If you want to double check, just jump on Google Maps and zoom out and you'll be able to see those 3 rock formations in that straight line as well. But after the talk, definitely go have a look at some of the paintings. One tip I really like to give people, because I've seen it happen multiple times, you see a painting you like and you're thinking about getting it. Get it straight away, because you're more than likely going to miss out. I've even done it to myself, and I even said I'll be back on break for that one, come back out and it's already gone. Even yesterday, part of my talk, I had some people come back to me in the afternoon and say, oh look, I bought this painting. Another lady was standing there, was like, oh, you took the one I wanted. So it's even happened just in the day. So if you do see one, get it straight away. If you need to grab some cash out from the ATM, just let them know and you can go in and grab it and they'll put it to the side for you as well. But definitely go and have a look after the talk. But there are a few things I like to say before I do come to an end. So a lot of the knowledge or information people are aware of is they were uncivilized and roamed around the country. It's not exactly true. Yes, you're going to move around your own homelands like I've shown you here, but you're not going to move on to somebody else's country. You don't know how to live off it. There's simplest stuff as water. In this area, they go through times of drought, so long periods of time where there'll be no rain. But the Anangu, they know which trees around us that store water. Or something as simple as the witchetty grub. Witchetty grub here in the central desert is found in the root system. You go coastal, try to find a witchetty grub in a root system, I can almost guarantee you're not going to find one. They're actually in the trunk of the tree. So there's little differences like that, so you wouldn't have just got up and moved across country. Yes, you could probably pick it up pretty quickly if you did move, but why would you want to start all over again when your ancestors have already done it for you? They've already shown you how to look after and live off that land that you're from. The uncivilized bit actually comes from trying to class this land as terra nullius. For them to be able to class this land as terra nullius, they had to try and prove we're uncivilized. So fishing traps are destroyed, water sources are being polluted, cattle harden up the ground, so croplands are getting destroyed. You're an animal, you hear a gunshot for the very first time, you're going to take off pretty quickly. Just like I would if I heard it for the first time, you'd see me running out there pretty quickly as well. So when you had to venture out further to find animals that were depleting in areas and moving on from areas as well. Traditional hunting also becomes very, very hard when there's a fence line. That kangaroo and emu, they can skip that fence a lot quicker than you can. So traditional hunting also becomes very hard when fence lines were introduced here in Australia as well. So there is a really good book about it called The Dark Emu. There are 2 versions, so there's the novel version, Dark Emu, and also a picture book version, Young Dark Emu. That book even has stuff in there that I wasn't aware of as an Indigenous person from the Northern Territory. So they're talking about the Yuin people of New South Wales, where they actually use killer whales to herd in larger whales into their bay for them to hunt. To say thank you to the killer whale, they'll get the tongue and throw it back out to them to say thank you. I've also been told by a guest a few months ago that the Museum of Eden in New South Wales actually has a jaw of one of the killer whales, and they have a missing tooth on either side where they'd actually draw like rope through and ride those killer whales as well. I wasn't aware of that, so I asked my colleague who's from New South Wales. He even said, yeah, it's true. So there's even stuff in that book that I wasn't aware of. So a really good book just to give you a little bit more of a different point of view as well. The writer, Bruce Pascoe, if he finds out new information or updated information, he'll actually bring out a new edition of the book. So I brought mine quite a while ago. I brought one for one of my family members, and then I flicked through that book. There's at least 5 pages in that one that's not in mine. So by then, I'll probably just have a whole shelf of Dark Emu books by the end of it, I reckon. But there is one thing I really, really like to leave people with, is that we didn't just survive, we thrived. Because if you're just trying to survive, you're just trying to find food, water and shelter every single day. We knew what we had to do. The men knew when to go hunting to get the animals they wanted. The women knew to do collection before the birds and the sun got to it. We knew where to find water sources and where to find shelter. And if you're just trying to survive, we wouldn't have had time to make stuff like the digging stick, like the different pitties that we have, the muggery. We would have also lost our culture a long time ago, because the main way of passing it down is orally, by sitting around the camp and telling those stories to the younger generation so that they can learn the culture early as well. We would have lost that a long time ago if we're just trying to survive. So that's why I say we didn't just survive, we thrived. But I hope you have enjoyed my talk this morning. Hope you have a wonderful time out here. But thank you for coming and listening this morning.
Thank you.